Intro 0130. What if I told you that small, seemingly harmless changes in your body could be the first whispers of something far more serious? What if those whispers, those tiny, overlooked signs, were warning you about something life-threatening? Colon cancer is one of the deadliest cancers worldwide, yet its symptoms are often ignored until it's too late. The key to survival? Catching it early. But how many of us truly know what to watch for? Today, we're diving into 11 critical warning signs of colon cancer, signals your body might already be sending you. Some of these may surprise you. Some may even shock you. But one thing is certain, ignoring them is not an option. And here's something you won't want to miss. At the end of this video, we'll reveal simple yet powerful ways to protect yourself and drastically reduce your risk. So stay with me, because this information could save your life. Keycap 1 Unexplained changes in bowel movements. 13330. Pushpin. Have you noticed sudden changes in your bathroom habits? Sometimes, the body whispers before it screams. A shift in your bowel movements could be a mere inconvenience, or it could be a warning sign of something far more sinister lurking within. Colon cancer has a way of masking itself, blending into everyday discomforts until it's too late. Location flag warning signs. Chronic diarrhea that lasts for weeks, severe constipation that doesn't improve, narrow, ribbon-like stools across the world. Seemingly harmless symptoms have led to life-altering diagnoses. Magnifying glass. United States. The case of Richard in New York. Richard, a 52-year-old lawyer from New York, always led a stressful life, long hours, takeout meals, and little time to pay attention to his body. He noticed loose stools every morning but blamed it on the coffee. Over time, the diarrhea persisted, and he started experiencing sudden urges to go, even when he had nothing left to pass. Still, he ignored it, brushing it off as just stress. One night, after an intense stomach cramp, he finally saw a doctor. A colonoscopy revealed a malignant tumor blocking part of his intestine. If he had waited just a few more months, the cancer would have spread beyond cure. Magnifying glass. France. A Parisian dancer's struggle in Paris. Camille, a 47-year-old ballet dancer, had always been in perfect shape. One day, she realized she hadn't had a proper bowel movement in over a week. She tried fiber, hydration, and probiotics, but nothing worked. Eventually, the stool that did come out was thin, like a pencil. At first, she blamed her restrictive diet. But her doctor was alarmed. A scan revealed a tumor pressing against her colon, narrowing the passage. The pencil-thin stool was not from diet but a physical obstruction. She underwent surgery just in time to prevent a deadly spread. Magnifying glass. Japan. The mysterious case of the businessman in Tokyo in Japan, where colon cancer rates have been rising. A 60-year-old businessman named Kenji dismissed his constipation as part of aging. But soon, it was taking him 45 minutes in the restroom with no relief. He tried traditional herbal remedies, but the feeling of incomplete evacuation never left. When he finally saw a doctor, they discovered a tumor at the lower end of his colon. His body was sending distress signals, but he had ignored them for too long. If detected earlier, a simple polyp removal could have saved him from major surgery and aggressive chemotherapy. Magnifying glass. South Africa. The grandmother in South Africa in Cape Town, a 65-year-old grandmother, Thandi, began experiencing severe constipation. Unlike the others, she had limited access to healthcare and believed it was just part of getting older. When her constipation turned into sharp pain every time she tried to go, she finally visited a rural clinic. By then, the tumor had grown so much that it had completely blocked her intestines. Emergency surgery removed the cancer, but had she come earlier, the procedure could have been far less invasive. Magnifying glass. Australia. The farmer from the Australian outback. Way out in the Australian outback, a 55-year-old cattle farmer named Jack started experiencing diarrhea for weeks. His first thought? Probably bad water or something I ate. But even after switching to clean water and a bland diet, the issue persisted. When Jack finally saw a doctor, tests revealed internal bleeding in his intestines. His seemingly harmless diarrhea had been a warning sign of early-stage colon cancer. Fortunately, due to quick action, He was able to undergo minimally invasive treatment and fully recover. Light bulb the lesson? Your body speaks. Are you listening? If you've noticed persistent changes in your bowel habits, don't dismiss them. Your colon may be trying to warn you. Right finger. A few weeks of symptoms could mean the difference between early detection and a late-stage diagnosis. If your bowel movements have changed without explanation, seek medical advice immediately. It could save your life. Keycap 2. Blood in the stool. 33530, revolving light. If you saw blood in your stool, would you panic or ignore it? Blood is the body's most sacred essence, the river of life flowing through our veins. Yet, when it appears where it shouldn't be, it becomes an omen, a whisper of something lurking beneath the surface. Magnifying glass. United States. The silent warning in Chicago. Michael, a 54-year-old firefighter from Chicago, first noticed a streak of bright red blood on the toilet paper after using the restroom. He dismissed it as hemorrhoids, something he'd dealt with before. But weeks passed, and the bleeding continued. One morning, he felt a deep, dull ache in his lower abdomen, followed by a heavier discharge of blood in his stool. Still, he hesitated. It wasn't until he nearly passed out from weakness that he sought medical help. The diagnosis? Stage 3 colon cancer. Had he acted sooner, the tumor could have been removed before spreading. But now, he faced aggressive chemotherapy and a long battle ahead. Magnifying glass. Germany. The case of the banker in Berlin. In Germany, Klaus, a 49-year-old banker, had dark, tarry stools, a silent but deadly symptom. Unlike the bright red blood from hemorrhoids, black stool signals hidden bleeding deep inside the digestive tract. Klaus ignored it. He was fit, healthy, and had no family history of cancer. But one evening, while having dinner with colleagues, he suddenly felt dizzy and short of breath. He collapsed before dessert arrived. Doctors later discovered a bleeding tumor in his colon. The constant blood loss had left him severely anemic, and he had been slowly bleeding internally for months without realizing it. Magnifying glass. India. The tea vendor in Mumbai. In the bustling streets of Mumbai, Rajesh, a 56-year-old tea vendor, started noticing blood in his stool every few days. At first, he thought it was spicy food or an upset stomach. But as the months passed, he felt drained, weak, and breathless even while doing simple tasks. His friends noticed his skin turning pale, almost gray. When he finally visited a hospital, doctors found a tumor that had been silently bleeding for months. By the time they detected it, the cancer had already spread to his liver. Magnifying glass. South Africa. A mother's unspoken fears. In Johannesburg, Nolwazi, a 42-year-old mother of 3 in South Africa, saw blood in her stool one morning. She was terrified but kept it to herself. "It'll go away," she told herself. Weeks turned into months. The bleeding became more frequent, but she was afraid to go to the hospital, fearing bad news. It wasn't until she began losing weight rapidly that her sister convinced her to seek help. By then, the tumor had grown so large that it completely blocked part of her intestine. Surgery was the only option, but it came too late for a full recovery. Magnifying glass. Australia. The farmer's delayed realization. In the remote fields of Western Australia, Jack, a 60-year-old cattle farmer, noticed blood in his stool after a day of hard labor. He assumed it was from straining too much or lifting heavy sacks of feed. But the blood kept appearing, small amounts at first, then more pronounced. Eventually, his stools turned dark and tarry, almost black. His wife insisted he get checked. A colonoscopy revealed multiple tumors that had been bleeding internally for over a year. His once strong body had been slowly weakening without him even realizing. Light bulb. What's the lesson? Blood in the stool is never normal. Whether it's bright red, maroon, or black, it's a message from your body that must not be ignored. Revolving light. Bright red blood suggests lower digestive tract bleeding, often the rectum or colon. Revolving light. Dark, tarry stool suggests bleeding higher up, possibly from a tumor deep within the intestines. Even if it's just a few drops, don't dismiss it. The earlier you seek help, the greater your chances of survival. Keycap 3. Persistent abdominal pain and cramps. 53730. confounded face, do you often experience bloating, cramping, or a dull ache in your lower abdomen that doesn't go away? Pain is a language the body uses to warn us of danger. But when the pain is subtle, lingering, and persistent, it can be deceptively easy to ignore. Colon cancer often whispers before it roars, hiding behind discomfort that many mistake for ordinary digestive issues. Magnifying glass United States. The engineer in Texas who ignored the signs. David, a 50-year-old civil engineer from Texas, had always had a strong stomach. So when he began experiencing mild cramping and bloating, he dismissed it as gas. Over-the-counter antacids became his daily routine. At first, they seemed to help, but soon, the pain became more localized, settling in his lower left abdomen. It wasn't sharp, nor was it unbearable, but it was always there. One night, he woke up sweating, feeling an intense pressure in his abdomen, as if something was pushing from the inside. A colonoscopy later revealed a tumor obstructing part of his colon. His mild, persistent discomfort had been a silent warning of stage 2 cancer. Magnifying glass Spain. The pianist in Madrid who thought it was indigestion in Spain, 47-year-old Sofia, a classical pianist, was used to sitting for long hours at her grand piano. She started feeling a deep, nagging pain in her abdomen, assuming it was muscle strain from her posture. Then came the bloating. Her stomach felt full even when she hadn't eaten much. Some days, she would feel a strange pressure, as if something was pressing against her intestines. Doctors initially thought it was irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. But as weeks turned into months, the pain became more intense and unpredictable. Tests revealed a growing tumor compressing her intestines. Had she trusted her instincts and sought answers earlier, her treatment could have been much simpler. Magnifying glass Japan. The business executive in Tokyo who pushed through the pain. Kenji, a 53-year-old executive in Tokyo, believed in working through discomfort. His lower abdomen had been aching for months, but he blamed it on long hours at the office and late-night ramen dinners. One day, while presenting at a meeting, a sharp wave of pain stopped him mid-sentence. He broke into a cold sweat. His colleagues rushed him to the hospital, where a scan showed a tumor had been slowly growing in his colon. The dull pain that had become part of his daily life had been trying to warn him. By the time he sought medical help, the cancer had advanced beyond the colon. Magnifying glass Kenya. The market vendor in Kenya who mistook it for an ulcer in Nairobi, Aisha, a 55-year-old market vendor, had felt an uncomfortable tightening in her abdomen for over a year. She assumed it was an ulcer from stress, since life at the market was hectic. She took herbal teas, pain relievers, even changed her diet, but nothing worked. Slowly, the pain spread across her abdomen, making it harder to work long hours. By the time she went to the clinic, she had a large tumor pressing against her intestines. She needed immediate surgery, but her chances of survival would have been much higher if she had gone earlier. Magnifying glass Australia. The surf instructor in Australia who thought it was just Gasjack, a 59-year-old surf instructor in Australia, lived a healthy, active life. He ate well, exercised daily, and never imagined that his occasional cramps and bloating were signs of something more serious. One day, after a long surfing session, the cramps intensified. It felt like his stomach was in a vice grip. When he finally saw a doctor, tests showed a tumor that had been growing for years. He had ignored one of the earliest warning signs, assuming his athletic lifestyle meant he was safe from disease. Light bulb. The body warns before it breaks. Colon cancer doesn't always announce itself with sharp pain. Sometimes, it's a slow, persistent ache, a feeling of fullness, pressure, or bloating that never quite goes away. Small diamond pain that doesn't improve with medication. Small diamond cramps that last for weeks or months. Small diamond. A sensation of something pressing inside. If your abdomen feels different, if something feels off, don't ignore it. Listen to your body, before it's too late. Keycap 4. The feeling of incomplete bowel emptying. 7:39:30, toilet. You just used the restroom, but it still feels like you need to go again. There's a strange sensation, as if something is still inside, refusing to leave. No matter how many times you go, the discomfort lingers. You push harder, yet nothing changes. It's unsettling, but easy to dismiss. For some, it's a minor annoyance. For others, it's the first whisper of something sinister growing within. Magnifying glass. United States. The teacher in Los Angeles who dismissed the signs. Rachel, a 45-year-old high school teacher in Los Angeles, always led a busy life. She barely had time to eat, let alone worry about minor bathroom issues. One day, she noticed an odd sensation. After using the restroom, she still felt like she needed to go. It wasn't pain, just a constant pressure, like something was stuck. Over the months, the feeling became more persistent. She started waking up in the middle of the night, rushing to the bathroom, only to sit there, straining, with no relief. A routine colonoscopy revealed the truth. A tumor had been growing at the lower part of her colon, partially blocking her bowel movements. The sensation she had ignored for 6 months had been her body's way of warning her. Magnifying glass. France. The cafe owner in Paris who thought it was stress. In the heart of Paris, Jean-Pierre, a 56-year-old cafe owner, prided himself on his daily espresso and croissant. He had always been regular, until he wasn't. He felt constantly bloated and never fully emptied his bowels. The feeling was subtle at first, but soon it became an everyday struggle. He blamed stress, changed his diet, even tried herbal remedies, but nothing worked. The discomfort was always there, lurking. A scan revealed a mass pressing against his rectum, blocking stool from passing completely. The tumor had been growing for years, silently altering his body's natural rhythm. Magnifying glass. India. The elder in Mumbai who believed it was just old age. In Mumbai, 63-year-old Kumar believed bathroom issues were just part of aging. For 2 years, he had trouble passing stool completely. He would go, then feel like he needed to go again minutes later. He ignored it, until one day, his son noticed he had lost over 15 pounds. His face was pale, his energy drained. Doctors found a tumor restricting the lower colon. His body had been fighting against an unseen force, desperately trying to warn him. Magnifying glass. Nigeria. The mother in Nigeria who was told it was a digestive issue. In Lagos, Amina, a 50-year-old mother of 5, visited the local clinic 3 times complaining of an incomplete feeling after using the restroom. Each time, she was told it was a minor digestive issue. Drink more water. Eat more fiber. But no amount of water or fiber could stop the growing discomfort. The sensation became heavier, deeper, more disturbing. By the time she traveled to a larger hospital, the diagnosis was grim: advanced stage colon cancer. Had her symptoms been taken seriously earlier, her outcome could have been different. Magnifying glass. Australia. The athlete in Sydney who thought it was just a change in diet. Mark, a 48-year-old marathon runner in Sydney, had always been in perfect health. When he started experiencing a constant feeling of incomplete emptying, he assumed it was from his new high-protein diet. He adjusted his meals, drank more water, but the feeling persisted. Then, he started noticing traces of blood. A colonoscopy revealed a growing tumor, pressing against his intestines, blocking stool from passing completely. He had caught it just in time, but only because he had paid attention. Light bulb. When the body speaks, listen. A persistent sense of unfinished business after using the restroom is not normal. Loudspeaker. If you frequently feel like something is stuck, if you are straining with no relief, if this sensation lingers for weeks, your body is trying to warn you. Don't wait. Don't ignore it.